seats that have always been used to, no matter who was the next person in line, always got sucked up to. Yep. And Trump basically during the campaign said, listen, here's the deal. I don't need you. I don't need your money, and I don't need you writing about me. If you want to jump on the bandwagon, you're welcome to, but I don't need you. That was the first time that, frankly, anybody has said that. There is a default in the Republican Party right now that I've witnessed for 30 years, and frankly, to some degree, may have flirted with this myself until I recognize, but that people want to be accepted. They want the New York Times to write a puff piece about them. They want to get invited to the cocktail parties. And as soon as folks on the right recognize that that's never going to happen, and it's something that Donald Trump enlightened us on, that if we realize it's never going to happen, they will never accept us, they will never like us, they will never bring us into that fold, and that we need to be, okay with that and say, screw it, I don't need to do that. Once we understand that, I think we as a party can move in the right direction. But there is such a degree of the Republican Party that wants to be accepted by this left-wing elite class that rules the social circuit and the media circuit in D.C.
Yeah, for the record, I have completely given up on being invited to nice parties. I am past the point of parties and the rest of it, and I'm also locked in my house here in LA, so that's a whole other thing. But let's talk about the social media component of this.
Can I just jump on this for a second, because this is massively important. I feel like I'm doing a Vulcan mind meld with Jack and Sean. So it is stunning that this phenomenon still exists. When I was in the White House, and Sean and I were the weird guys, we were the oddities, because we didn't want the establishment to say nice stuff about us. I mean, I said, if the Washington Post ever says something nice about Sebastian Gorka, I'm failing. I am utterly failing, because they're committed to the destruction of this president and his agenda. So, they want to be loved. There were people at my rank, deputy assistant to the president, which is pretty high. There's 40 people of that rank in the in the U.S. government. We outrank 3-star generals. I knew people at my rank, Dave, who were never Trumpers, inside the White House, who were there because they wanted the tick on the resume, but were actively trying to undermine the president. So this question of bench and team, I mean, Jack is right that it has to be an outsider and a celebrity, but it has to be somebody who can fill 4,000 political appointments in U.S. government.
So one last thing on that, though, then is that, in your opinion, Seb, was that Trump's fault? Like, was that his greatest fault, is that he did not get rid of the right people when he was supposed to get rid of them?
No. It's not that he didn't get rid of them. He didn't have anybody to fill those positions. When we came in, I went to work the day after the inauguration, Saturday, January the 21st, 8 a.m. And we came into the building, and I'm not joking, it's not an exaggeration. There were about maybe 20 guys in senior positions, guys and gals, and I mean senior positions, who knew what MAGA meant, were loyal to MAGA, not the man, but to the message, Make America Great Again, and had the wherewithal to actually make something happen. Then there was this gap, and there were like dozens and dozens and hundreds of 23-year-olds. And then there was nobody else. There was no bench. We were a small group of merry men. It was like Robin Hood's insurgency took over the U.S. government, thanks to the American people. And then we had to fill these positions. And what happened? And I'm going to let the dirty laundry out here. We had to fill thousands of positions, and what happened? The Bushy schlep came in and filled the vacuum. The former Bush appointees, or people who weren't competent, came in for those 4,000 positions. Where else would Donald Trump get that team? And this is a massive problem for the next 4 years. We must build the bench on the outside, and it can't come from these stinking think tanks of so-called elitist, experts here in D.C.
Yeah, so that I think gets to Jack's point about you got to have a network, and you're going to have done a lot of stuff before the next guy comes in. But let's talk about the information